Hello everybody and welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler and this week we've got a special one. It's that time of the year. That's right, every year we have to revisit Merfolk. I can't get away from it, I've got to do it. But you know what, we have a great reason to do it this time because Nikachu, shout out to Magic Online user Nikachu, he's also a really good player. He got second at a Grand Prix with Merfolk, I think a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago. Well, he went 7-0 in the most recent Modern Challenge with this deck and then lost in the semifinals. So that overall is an 8-1 record in a competitive Modern setting with Merfolk. And if that doesn't warrant a reason to bring it back, I don't know what would. But it might be Mistcaller, if it were to be something. Mistcaller is pretty sweet here. M19, sacrifice Mistcaller until end of turn. If a non-token creature would enter the battlefield and it wasn't cast, exile it instead. So Dredge, big deck right now. This gets it. This gets other people's Aether Vials, I guess, if you really want it. It can get something that comes off a Restoration Angel. It can get something that would come into play from a graveyard or library. It just has a lot of uses right here. And in a world where Curse Catcher is basically weaker than it's ever been before, Mistcaller gets the nod here at the 1-drop spot, along with, and this is just wild to me, but hey, I'm playing Nikachu's list here. Peek. Look at target player's hand, draw a card. I mean, it gives you perfect information, which tells you a lot of Merfolk. Lets you know if you should go all in on Master of Waves, that sort of stuff. So, rest of the deck, pretty much what you expect. We're back to 4 Phantasmal Image. There was a long time where this wasn't what you did in Merfolk, but as the metagame sped up, you had to move to 4 images. We've got the 4 Vials to cheat stuff into play. 20 lands, bunch of islands, Mutavaults, as you'd expect. Spreading Sea is our only interaction, really. Mess with their lands, but you know what, it works. The only interaction in the form of spells. We have a lot of interaction in creatures. So Silvergill Adept, best card in the deck, it draws us a card. But, so Lord of Atlantis, Master of the Pearl Trident, +1/+1, an island walk to all of our other creatures, makes them very powerful. We've got Merfolk Tricksters in here, huh? When it enters the battlefield, tap target creature an opponent controls, it loses all abilities till end of turn. So there are no Harbingers of the Tides in this list. Nikachu cut it, was running a couple Mirror Regeries instead. So is that correct? Cutting Harbingers basically for images? I don't know, but this is the list. Onto the sideboard. I like the sideboard a lot. Deprives, 4 Deprives, just a hard counter. It's just what you need in Modern sometimes. Gut Shot, Affinity, Mana Dorks, that sort of stuff. Tech Edge for Tron, Relic for Graveyard decks. Venser is a catch-all. It's a pretty nice catch-all answer, and Spell Pierce as well. So that's the deck, everybody. It's Merfolk. It's that time. I'm going to look forward to it. For those who don't know, if somehow you don't, Merfolk is my favorite deck. By far, I love it. First big event I ever top 8'd was an SCG Legacy Open with Merfolk back forever ago. So, pretty excited to play the deck. If you're watching this at the end, hope they were good matches. If you're watching at the beginning, thanks for watching and enjoy. I'm Corbin Hostler, and this is Mining Modern. Hello, everybody. More Mining Modern here. Merfolk. We're doing it. It did very well in a recent Modern Challenge in the hands of Nikachu. Shout out to him. So, hey, I'm giving it a shot. So, my opponent's leading on Gemstone Mine, Faithless Looting, huh? I don't know what that means exactly. I do know that my hand has some pretty powerful cards in it. They discarded double Simian Spirit Guide. This has got to be like Grishelbrand, right? I think that's probably the only type deck that has Gemstone Mine plus Simian Spirit Guides plus Faithless Leans, I think. Guess we'll find out right here whether or not we die right now. Phantasmal Image could be good. Or they're going to play Birds of Paradise. Okay. So everything I said is off the table. I have no idea what I'm talking about. But, hey, I'll take it, I guess. Alright, well, you know what? I don't have a bunch of things I can cast, but I'm sure Spreading Seas is Blackcleave Cliffs. And you know what? Look at that. That was actually really nice for Drew Mistcaller. That is huge here. Not only does it give us something to vial in off of the 1-drop Vial here, which is very mana efficient, right? It enables us to keep a curve going. But also, our opponent's playing Faithless Looting. I have to assume there's going to be some sort of shenanigans coming along that hopefully we can snipe with Mistcaller here. Cathartic Reunion, huh? Okay, I see. So they've discarded Collective Brutality and Seismic Assault. So it's just some sort of Loam deck. Okay. Fair enough. So they're just going to try to drown us out in value over the course of the game here. Odd that they have Birds of Paradise. I won't lie, I'm a little confused. I don't know what the Simian Spirit Guide, Faithless Looting, Seismic Assault, Collective Brutality, Birds of Paradise deck is, though, that's for sure. That's a new one. But I'm interested to find out. Alright, we get a curve out very nicely here with our Aether Vial. Especially good since we're on the draw. Kind of gets us some of that tempo back that we lost by not going first. All of that said, our hand gets a lot worse, a lot more quickly if we don't hit a land. That is a land, not necessarily the one I was looking for, but... Well, I think our turn here is actually pretty straightforward. I just want to play a Lord. Attack for 2. And then play Phantasmal Image on that Lord and just try to kill our opponent. I mean, I have no idea what they're doing. But I do know that... I guess I should have done it pre-combat. I don't know. It was a pretty safe bet that they would have used a removal spell there in combat. And maybe it would have worked out the same anyways because we didn't exactly have a better play. So I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to play pre-combat for the extra point. The question is whether or not we would have ended up doing something different. And with our mana looking the way it is, I don't know that we actually could have done anything different. So I think maybe I should have just gone for it. Alright, I don't know what our opponent's looking for here. I do know that Mistcaller stops a lot of the shenanigans they could be doing. I'm starting to come around to Mistcaller in the main deck. I don't know about the rest of this main deck, but I'm definitely starting to come around on Mistcaller. I mean, Curse Catcher was great, but it was just so easy to play around, and all the spells in Modern are so efficient anyways these days that taxing them by 1 just didn't really do much, right? Whether they were playing Abrupt Decays or whatever. Oh, this can't be good for us. Alright, our opponent is... Wow, just doing all of it, huh? They discarded Conflagrate and Bloodghast to drain one of our Merfolk, but not kill it. Look at our hand and whiff. Now they have a red mana. I assume to kill this so that they'll end up killing both of our creatures. The problem for them is we actually untap into a fairly nice rebuild. And they will be out of gas. Although Conflagrate could be a problem, but without a Loam, they don't really have many cards in their hand to fuel it. So... this is not ideal for our opponent here. Of course, this will die as soon as he gets targeted. Phantasmal Image Claws. I like how Magic Online puts them next to each other like that. That's kind of neat. But, with all that said, I'm not sure what our opponent's going to do or what they want to do. Alright, they've gone to 2 red mana. Are they about to flash this back? Sorry, fixing my fan there. Well, this is actually... my opponent has divided this wrong. They should have put 1 on my Mistcaller and 1 on this Lord, which would have caused this Lord to get sacrificed due to being targeted, which would have caused the other Lord to die to having 0 toughness, which would have then caused the Mistcaller with its 1 toughness and 1 damage on it to die as well. So... I think we caught a little bit of a break there, and now, of course, like I said, we just get to rebuild into a very strong board. Our opponent's going to be top decking. Their back is up against the wall for sure. And Spreading Seas, not exactly what they want to see either, I imagine. It's awfully tempting to just fire off the Spreading Seas, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to play a Lord out here and just turn on Immutavault and get on in there. Alright, so I want to make sure I do this right. I am activating the top one, paying with the back one. There we go. Were I being greedier, I could have played Spreading Seas first to try to hit another land to get to play Spreading Seas and attack with Mutavault. But I think that's fine. If my opponent just wants to play Faithless Looting here, let him play Faithless Looting. They might just die. Oh, they found life from the Loam. It's a big game. They've even got Molten Vortex going on here. Now, this is a card that I don't know that I can beat, frankly, if it comes down on turn 1. Life from the Loam at this point in the game, though, I think a much worse proposition for our opponent. Yeah, they've got their engine going now, but I just don't know if it's going to be fast enough. Alright, that's a nice draw. Alright, activating the top one. I'm just sending in the team. How much damage do I have here? 6, 8, 10. I just can't block anyways, so I'm just going to attack. Well, my opponent needs so many things here. The thing is they need blockers. Even if they were to dredge, which they did, I mean, you can cast it back. They actually milled a Conflagrate, which is what they needed, but it's just not enough. All right, on to game 2. We got game 1 there. That felt pretty good. And now we get some nice ones here. All right, so Regery seems not super important. Phantasmal Woman seems kind of actively bad as much as I love the card. Spell Pierces seem good. I mean, we saw Birds of Paradise, but I don't think Gutshot's kind of the line we want to be interacting on here. I do like the Vincers a little bit. The Tricksters, I think, are not great. I'm cut a Peak. I'm going to cut all. Well, I mean, Peak's not horrendous in the sideboarded games here because we get to see what board wipes they have or whatever. They have a lot of permanent-based control. To be honest, their deck is probably set up to beat decks like ours, where they have Seismic Assault and Molten Vortex and Life from the Loam. And it's just this value engine that just sort of mercilessly churns through creatures without us being able to do anything about it. So that said, we got game 1. Felt good. We have a lot of interaction for him now. We are mono blue deck after all. We have counter spells and some number. And we'll see what we can do. I got to keep this. I don't know. This hand's may be iffy, but I do have to keep it. I don't know if our opponent's playing discard or not. They are playing birds, though. Alright, well, come on, deck. Serve me up a land, please. I mean, this is pretty solid. Even if hitting land is, I think, what we want. It's obviously what we want. It might even be what we need to actually have a chance to win. But if nothing else, we can play Peak. We can violin and Mistcaller and see what happens. Mistcaller might be kind of bad in the matchup, too, for what it's worth. Might be one of those matchups where Curse Catcher is much, much better. Alright, so our opponent with all the colors they want here, Blooming Marsh, Gemstone Mine, Birds of Paradise. Let's see what they use it on. A hard cast Stinkweed Imp, huh? Okay, give me a land here, please, deck. Oh, you didn't do it. You didn't do it, deck. I did hit a Spell Pierce, though. I don't know if next turn's the key turn to Spell Pierce or not. How greedy am I going to be with this Peak? Problem is if my opponent plays a red source and a Seismic Assault or something, I just don't. I won't be able to win at that point because we can Spell Pierce a Life from the Loam later. It's not going to be enough. I think that I'm going to make a crazy play here and just pass the turn holding up Spell Pierce. I think that I'm correct that. I mean, we are the beatdown, but at the same time, there are certain cards I have to control for my opponent or I just can't win. Certainly in awkward game, this all stinky over here. I guess I'll take one. I think this is the correct line, though. The thing is, we also, remember, Peak is an instant, so if our opponent does nothing, then we need to Spell Pierce or can Spell Pierce, we at least still get to cycle our card. There is a third red source. It's obviously I'm not going to get anywhere, but now we'll have perfect information. Wow. Okay. And see that our opponent's hand is a lot of creature kill. Although this is any target for what it's worth. Alright, well this this Mistcaller is going to get real dead, but yeah, you do what you got to do. Alright, give me a land, please, deck. Come on. Come on. Hook me up. Alright, we got a land. We can play. Sort of. I mean, all that said, I still kind of want to hold up Spell Pierce. And I'm going to. I'm going to violin this Lord here. Attack. I mean, our opponent's going to play something out of their hand. Lightning Axe, discarding something, I guess. It's just not even very good for them. Yeah, they want to kill our Lord. You know what? I'm happy to let them. I mean, discarding Conflagrate certainly makes sense. Alright, so their hand is Mana Confluence and Molten Vortex. Still getting in there for one. We get to Spell Pierce. I mean, the thing is we can't Spell Pierce a Molten Vortex, but we might be able to Spell Pierce something. Life from the Loam is the card we care about the most, and they haven't seen one yet, which is good for us. The thing is, even if we don't Spell Pierce anything, we can then Merfolk Trickster down, something. This looks like a cathartic reunion, huh? Discarding Molten Vortex. Wow, okay. It's one of their better cards in the matchup. Well, I guess they just wanted to draw 3. Oh, this would be a nice one to Spell Pierce if I could. I would have loved to make them discard 2 and then Spell Pierce that away. And if this was Curse Catcher, we could have done it. Thoughtseize, huh? Yeah, I'm just going to let him have it. I'm just going to play this in response. Because the thing is, all these Master Waves are obviously redundant. Taking the Spell Pierce is the same thing as Thoughtseizing the Spell Pierce. What is this? It's nothing? Okay. I even get to tap down their blocker this way. Like I said, they get to take the Spell Pierce if they want, but the Spell Pierce was going to lose all its value this turn anyways. Either we were going to Spell Pierce out to protect our 2-drop, but that's dumb. We should just play our 2-drop, let them have their choice of these, and if they choose to take a Master of Waves, then they know about the Spell Pierce, and it's bad no matter what. So, or certainly worse. That said, now our opponent gets a Thoughtseize that is going to hurt them. Doesn't necessarily do them a lot of good. We still have a little bit of power in play to poke them down, and you know, more importantly, it's devotion for these Massive Waves, which their entire deck's actually pretty weak against. Molten Vortex can't kill it. Conflagrate can't kill it. I mean, this card is just a house against them. So, you know, it actually kind of makes sense that they are forced into taking one there because it's just, I don't know if they're going to be able to beat it. Another bird, so they're down to 1 card in hand, huh? Yeah, we'll be taking this up. Okay, well, they're not really going to get to do anything this turn here. But we get to attack. Our opponent knows we have Spell Pierce, so at the very least, we can make them think about it. We make them play with that in mind, or we just tap them out so they can't do anything. I mean, I'm not going to do it to Faithless, so I'm going to let them loot, but starting next turn, we just start raining down Master of Waves, and if they're able to make, you know, any tokens at all, well, there's the Life from the Loam, so things might start to get ugly here. They don't actually have a payoff for Life from the Loam yet, other than just a giant Conflagrate. Now, this one I am going to Spell Pierce. Maybe they have Simian Spirit Guide to blow us out. They do not. Alright, that's pretty fine. They don't get a Loam back here. We get to attack. We get to start the train with the Master of Waves, and it just might be difficult for them to get back in it. I mean, the Stinkweed Imp is actually going to do a little bit of work here on defense for what it's worth. But every draw step that goes by is also a turn we could draw Relic of Progenitus and nuke their graveyard, which I suppose is particularly relevant in this combat step. Or rather, this draw step. Well, that's pretty solid as well. Just get to play a Master of Waves and have another one up. Just apply max pressure to them. Well, they're going to trade off here. I guess that makes sense. They want to dredge. Maybe I should have played this pre-combat. I didn't think they were going to trade, actually. Although, I guess that information was the same no matter what because they knew we had it. So, I actually, you know, normally the idea would be to attack, get them to trade so that they, you know, don't know you have Master of Waves. But I think I didn't fully think that one through. They already knew we had Master of Waves. So all I did was just hurt myself a couple tokens there for no reason. So that was actually kind of a real misplay. We'll see how much it comes back to punish us here. Our opponent dredged the Life from the Loam, actually, not even the Stinkweed Imp. So the thing is, they need something to control the board, but equally that's something, you know, can't hit Master of Waves. So they can kill Master of Waves tokens with this Conflagrate and take out our Mistcaller if they want. We're going to have something left over at the end. Like I said, sometimes Master of Waves just solos people out of the game. There you go. Oh, we were drawing nothing this game either. It was going to get ugly if we had to go a couple more turns, but The thing is, even if our opponent were to cast it there, discard 3 cards, right? The Conflagrate in the graveyard, discarding the 3 land, they could kill the Mistcaller 2 elementals, and then I just play another Master of Waves. In response, I get to tap 3 more elementals that are going to have 3 power each, so that's 9 plus 11. This would just have been 13, plus we would have drawn a Mutavault to play. That would have just, my opponent was just never going to beat these things in all likelihood. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe next turn they could have dredged a Stinkweed Imp, chump blocked 1, traded with 1. Maybe found a way out of it. I don't know. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and this week we are going back to my favorite deck, Merfolk. That's right. So there is a good reason for doing it. Nikachu, probably the best Merfolk player around right now. He got second with it at a GP a few years ago. Well, he went 7-0 in the Modern Challenge with this deck. So if that doesn't tell you there's something here, I don't know what would. And you know what? We got Mistcaller to make it happen now. Pretty excited to play with this card. The other addition is Peek. A couple Peeks to look at your opponent's hand and I guess get perfect information is the idea to know how just how to play, what lines you need. It's an interesting addition to Merfolk for sure. I don't know if it's correct. This was the Dismember, Spell Pierce, Vapor Snag slot, so I'm not sure. Our opponent actually took our Spreading Seas there. I'm not terribly surprised by that, to be honest. Alright, so we'll do that. Would like to use the ability. Okay, so, well, what that did for us is it meant we can't actually cast any of these double blue cards here, but I can go ahead and, well, Peek is an instant. I can't think of what I'd hit that would change anything, so I may as well just play the Tech Edge and pass the turn here. Alright, sorry, I've got new hotkeys here, Magic Online. Want to make sure I get these right. Don't want to ruin the game that way. That was a kind of a heads-up play by our opponent to take the one card we could actually easily play on that turn. But now we can go ahead and peek at our opponent's hand and see what they're working with. Okay, so a couple Thought Knots, some Patlats, a lot of removal. So we just want to get our creatures into play as quickly as possible, I think. Yeah, that's a lot of removal. But our hand matches up okay, I suppose. We'll go ahead and put another counter here on this Aether Vial. We do need to hit a land, I would say. We did not. We hit another Peek. Well, this is trying to figure out if this card is good or not. I think I'd like it to be a lot of things that aren't Peek right now, that's for sure. So this is not ideal. Can't even Tech Edge my opponent if I wanted. But I can go ahead and play this Master of the Pearl Trident, I guess. I mean, I'm sure our opponent's just going to kill it, but hey, if they path it, that's kind of good for us. If they dismember it, then whatever, we've dealt them some damage. I guess they can actually pay. Well, we dealt them 1 damage, I suppose, off of the Caves of Koilos here. Actually, just had the black mana to play the Dismember. Alright, well, now we're going to start getting Thought Knot Seared. So, this game's going to get rough, but we have some outs, I guess. We get to put a Marrow Reejery into play next turn if we want. This is unfortunate. We got punished by this Tech Edge and these Peeks pretty hard in this game, and that's, I don't know, sometimes you play with the deck and you make changes, and sometimes it's just not better. Not saying that's the case here or not. There is a cost to everything. We've certainly been punished a little bit in this game. Alright, well, there's a start. I guess we just pass here. We've got actually a lot of options on our turn. The problem, of course, is our opponent's just going to, let's see, we know their hand. It's a path, another Thought Knot, and I think another path. Yep. So this is pretty good for them. Yeah, well, I guess I need my Master of the Pearl Trident in play here for it to do anything. Our opponent's going to get to eat one of these Merfolk Tricksters, but there's nothing we can do about that. If they attack, yeah, say they actually don't think they'd want to attack with that. We really need a Spreading Seas right now. That would go a long way for us. I guess I should just hold this. We're not going to get any value out of playing it now. Mutavault, huh? Mutavault's not the worst. It is a creature. Problem is I can't attack, and the problem is our opponent has a bunch of removals, so I mean, it's not impossible for us to draw out of this one, but we are pretty far behind. That's for sure. And Wasteland Strangler might just be the nail in the coffin. Do we even have anything exiled right now? We did. We had the Mirror Regery exiled off the Thought-Knot Seers. Yeah, that pretty much kills us. Let's go ahead and put this into play. Our opponent has Path. We can't even double block profitably. This is just so bad. Alright, well, it is what it is. Doesn't look very good for us in this game. I get to attack back, I guess. That doesn't... We're just pretty much dead. Alright, let's see what we can hit here. Master of Waves would just get pathed. Yeah, I think we're in trouble. Well, Lord of Atlantis, huh? Okay, well, it gives us an opportunity to at least line up some blocks. They're not going to work very well because it's Path to Exile in their hand, but is what we can do. Wow, they're actually just going to burn one here. Okay. Well, that's maybe not the worst thing for us. I guess I don't know if we know what our opponents... Oh, they have another path in hand, I believe. So I don't think there's anything we can do to win. Fire up that Shambling Vent. Kill me the most embarrassing way. You got it. All right, so we'll go ahead and Vial in this Lord. Fire up this Mutavault. You know, maybe I could have tech edged my opponent's caves and make them... I don't think that would have been good. I guess that would have been an option, maybe. So I can only put 3 in front of this because our opponent has Path in hand. Or I can put everything in front of it and still only deal at 3. Yeah, this is pretty bad for us. I guess I block like this. What's the best way to do this here? I'm not sure if it matters too much. I guess we block like this. We want to make our opponent use their path one way or another here. Maybe I should put the Mutavault in front of it. I don't know. None of our blocks there are good because they can still just trade with Mutavault. But if we could burn the path... I don't know. Maybe I was supposed to make them burn the path and then try to draw Master of Waves. Maybe that was the line. Well, Merfolk Trickster buys us another turn. Can I get in there with this? I think... Okay, so we Merfolk Trickster 1. We fire up the Mutavault to double block with the Merfolk Trickster, I guess, is the plan. None of these options are great. And then I actually won't even be able to cast the Master of Waves that I draw. Yeah, I think we're pretty dead here. Something I have to just do it. I have to get out of my opponent's hand one way or another here. I don't think it, like I said, I don't think it matters. I don't think we have any outs, but we can try. All right, there's the path. Yeah, our opponent had to have a very specific set of cards in their hand, actually. This game is a lot closer than it appeared. We really weren't that far from turning the corner there. And, yeah, Island's not going to get it done. All right. Yeah, we weren't that far from turning the corner and just having enough creatures to profitably trade off, or at least trade off with the Thought-Knot Seers and get our cards back. So that was actually kind of rough. All right, so our opponent is on Eldrazi and taxes here, huh? All right, so what do we and what we don't we want here? To be honest, I like most of our hand. I'm going to cut a peek. I'm going to get a Vizier in here. I actually like being able to draw a creature to bounce their Thought-Knots, especially if it's off a top deck, because we can draw, bounce in there, instead draw, play our cards. And, yeah, it actually seems pretty good. For what it's worth, Regery seems fine as well. I'm going to cut an image. I think that's okay. Our opponent has this Eldrazi Displacer, which is pretty good against us. We don't really have any great answers to it. I can play Deprives as well if I wanted. I mean, Mistcallers don't do much, and you shouldn't be afraid to cut your 1-drops as Merfolk. Sometimes they just don't do anything. A Mistcaller, you know, could be okay against our opponent, but it's probably not great in all honesty. And this hand seems reasonable enough. It's going to be a little awkward when we get get Inquisition of Kozilek on turn 1 and can't play our Spreading Seas. But if that doesn't happen, I actually like what we can do here quite a bit. We'll see. Yep, there is Inquisition. They obviously have it. Yeah, I mean, they probably play 5, 6 discard turn 1 discard effects max, and if they don't have one there, our hand works out really well to get a Spreading Seas them, and then hopefully draw onto land, you know, to hit Rejury, and they clearly take it there, so... And we're just going to get max punished here. This has been honestly kind of unlucky, because you look at that hand, there's no way, you can't mulligan that hand. You're playing Merfolk, that's a great hand, but we just happen to have hands in both games that were just extremely susceptible to one discard spell, so that's not ideal. Also, we're just getting trolled by the one tech edge in the main deck. This is not how it's supposed to go. Man, this is why I don't do that. In my personal Merfolk list, at one point I even went down to 3 Mutavaults because of just how often you have exactly what you're looking at right now, a bunch of double blue cards, and just have colorless sources. Playing this, there's such a real cost of playing this in the main deck. I mean, in a Tron-infested meta, it's you know, very quite possibly worth it, but, you know, sometimes you just don't get to play. All right. Speaking of not playing, we actually do get to play there. We get to draw a land, finally cast our Lord of Atlantis. And we'll see where we go from here. I mean, I can play the... depending on what our opponent does, we can always copy their creatures with Phantasmal Image. Which I suppose would include Eldrazi Displacer, and we'd even have a colorless source. Not that that matters too much. Yeah, there's a Mistcaller, so I can go Mistcaller Image if I want. What's my opponent doing with it? They just have removal up, I guess? Well, it's very tempting to play the Phantasmal Image here, along with the Mistcaller, but our opponent most likely has removal, and we would have got blown up pretty hard there, trying to Phantasmal Image, and our opponent just killing this in response. Now, obviously, somehow that wasn't the case. Our opponent, who just has no card, infinite cards in hand, just doesn't do anything with 3 mana. Well, this is fine. See, this is actually kind of difficult a little bit for our opponent here, because either they take they take the Phantasmal Image, so we can't get their Thought Knots here. But we have Vizier here, if we hit land. Or Spreading Seas. Spreading Seas also very good here. I get to hit the Shambling Vent. We could have taken their colorless source, but I'm going to hit the Shambling Vent. Alright, that was a big draw for us, because now these creatures give each other Island to walk. We get a crash in for 6. We get an untap. If we hit land, we have Vizier. If we don't hit land, we have Merfolk Trickster. Still pretty good. So, and our opponent is a little choked on colored mana, perhaps. Although this Vault of the Archangel could be a problem in the long game, I suppose. Yeah, well, there's nothing I can do about this, so this just sucks. Yep, Wasteland Strangler is the unbeatable card in these matchups. You play them and you can handle a lot of the effects, but there's just nothing you can do. This card is just always a 2-for-1. Our opponent's attacking here. I think that's probably good for us, to be honest. It means I get to crash back for a little bit of damage. Ooh, it's not a bad draw. Not a bad draw at all, to be honest. I get to put my opponent down to 5. Alright, so they actually do have enough here if they wanted. They could go ahead and fire up the Vault of the Archangel. Gain 7 life. That's not a meaningless amount of life. All that said, I mean, I'm letting them do it because that means they're tapping all of their turn on it, and then I get to untap into something. Instead, they're just doing nothing and passing back, which I actually find very interesting. Settle the Wreckage, I think, is the only thing we lose to here. We very well might lose to that. I guess I get to choose what to attack with. I'm going to attack with 2 creatures. If my opponent has spot removal, that's fine because we can still win with the Merfolk Trickster. But if they have Settle, which is certainly what they're representing, and they did, at least I don't know, I think we're still dead, but it's something. Maybe not. All right, well, we'll see how good this Merfolk Trickster could be. The plan, I think, is to take 7 and then attack back for an amount of damage. But maybe that shouldn't be the plan. Maybe the plan should be to tap down the Thought-Knot Seer. I really like my opponent tapping out. Oh, this makes it lose all abilities. Does that include lifelink? That would be nice. I'm going to give this a shot. That would actually put my opponent up to 8. I'd be attacking back for not lethal, I guess. There's just so many things we lose to. And there's just not anything we can do about it here. Like I said, if my opponent does nothing and thinks they're going to win by playing a blocker, we might actually be able to get there. Oh, that's a big tap. Elspeth, Sun's Champion. Okay, well, I guess we have some outs here. I could hit... I mean, I have 3 Island Walking damage. If I hit an Island Walker, I can win. That's what this is going to come down to. Unfortunately, this Venser keeps us 1 off of winning. But we've got outs. We're live to draw an out. And I clearly did not. Alright, where I can Tech Edge this. So my opponent can't gain life at least. Well, we put him down to 2 here. I think I might be able to... Oh, I think I take exactly lethal. You know what? Maybe I shouldn't have attacked. Although I don't know if that really would have mattered. Maybe my opponent won't send the team. We'll find out. I guess I could hit a 1-drop off of this. See, I can bounce a Thought-Knot. Oh my gosh, and I take exactly lethal. Unless we hit a 1-drop off of this. That's so rough. We're probably going to draw a 2-drop here. You know, if this... I guess another line I could have taken was... bouncing this. And then replaying it to tap down another creature. And have 2 blockers. So I would have tapped one down and had 3 blockers. That might have gotten there. Our problem is our opponent still could have gained life off of that. And we're obviously going to be 1 short here. Would I have won if I had done that, though? If I don't hit their Vault to the Archangel... Oh, no, we weren't going to beat Path to Exile at any point. But let's say if I hadn't hit the Vault of the Archangel, I could have bounced the Merfolk Trickster, replayed the Merfolk Trickster, tapped the Thought-Knot Seer, had 3 blockers to block Strangler, eat 2 of these, actually. And then even if my opponent activates it, they're going to gain 6 life off of it. And then I get a crack back for 1, 2, 3. I mean, we're still in the same boat. So we're still dead no matter what. Not going to beat Path, but I might have been able to survive that combat step. And then maybe drawn it out. So there you go. That was a close match, though. I mean, both of those games were very close. Just couldn't quite turn the corner. That's the way it goes sometimes. Thanks for watching, everyone. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Mighty Modern. I'm Corbin Hostler, and here we go with Merfolk. That's right. We're doing it Modern Merfolk with Mistcaller. Mistcaller seems to be making a difference in the deck. It's pretty good against a lot of decks in the field right now. And it does, honestly, it puts in a lot of work. All right, there we go. That is a nice draw right there. Silvergill Adept on turn 2, definitely what I'm looking for. I'm going to reveal this Mara Reedry, because that's hopefully the one I'll be playing next turn. All right, we got there with our island. That's a big game, because you can sometimes get in trouble not having enough blue sources in the deck. Oh, my opponent's playing Living End. Well, that's pretty... Mistcaller's pretty good against that, I have to say. All of that said... I mean, that's still kind of a problem for us, right? It's certainly not a problem. They're going to have a bunch of creatures come into play at some point here. I mean, I can beat them down in the meantime, at least, I suppose. And then we can Phantasmal Image a couple things. I mean, we've got a shot, I think, even through Living End, but we'll find out. Maybe not. Putting this one in play is pretty good. Then again, maybe I could have a couple of them. Oh, wow, they're just going to burn it now, huh? Okay. See, I'm into that. That's a very small Living End. They get 2 cards. And I get to have 2 Archfiend of Ifnirs myself now. Phantasmal Image is nice. Yeah, this is going to be quite good. Look at this. Now, the problem for us, of course, is that Archfiend of Ifnir actually has an ability. Whenever you cycle or discard another card, put a -1 counter on each creature your opponents control. So, yeah, as cool as this play I just made was, our opponent's just going to... Oh, they're actually going to Beast Within instead. Okay. I was going to say, all they have to do is cycle cards, put surprise -1/-1 counters on our stuff. That's pretty good. All that said, if we can just deal with the board as it is, we're not in the worst spot. I guess I attack my opponent. This seems like the right play, I guess. Try to put some amount of pressure on him, since blocking is always going to be weird because of this. I think I just want a Lord here. That way I can fire up the Mutavault next turn and attack, if I need to. We're not exactly in danger of dying to their attack step yet. So the thing is now, if they do fire off a Living End, which it looks like they're going to. Well, but then again, this is just removal as well, I suppose. Yeah, just simply targeting. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, bring it on in. That's fine. I think we can actually win this race with the Merfolk Trickster. We will see. It's going to be close. This is definitely a matchup where you miss Merfolk. Curse Catcher. All right, well, looks like we're going to go ahead and Phantasmal Image our Lord. Our opponent's not killing us next turn. Even if they have Violent Outburst, it would only add 2, which would up them to 11, which is not lethal. So I'm just going to go ahead and image this Lord of Atlantis, fire up the Mutavault, and get in there for quite a bit of damage. It's a nice part about Merfolk. Our opponent went for that fast value Living In to get our creatures off the board, and you know what? It didn't necessarily work out for them. They're taking 7 here if they don't have anything. They do, so they get to put counters on our creatures, which is very good. Extremely good, as a matter of fact, but crucially, that second Lord is keeping our things alive, at least for the moment. Then again, we might just get completely blown out by this unbeatable combo. And as a matter of fact, we almost certainly did. Our opponent now has 3 cards in hand. All it takes is 1 more Cycler. Oh my gosh, the blocking value? Oh, GG. We died. Wow, that was pretty sick. Yeah, like I said, Archfiend of Ifnir, it has an ability, everybody. That was insane. Yeah, there goes our tech edge, because why not? Am I dead? I mean, I'm pretty much dead, right? Alright, Mutavault, I see you. I have... Okay, well, I can tap down... I can't fire up the Mutavault, but I can tap down the Archfiend before they go to combat. I mean, I think none of this really matters, but we'll see. I suppose it makes it lose all abilities on the turn. That might be relevant. Yeah, the problem is, like, I mean, I guess I can double block and kill this. I throw away my board to do it. The thing is, I don't know that I have any outs to that at that point, but I mean, I have to block it anyway, so we may as well block to kill it. Gosh, we just got soloed by Archfiend of Ifnir in this game. That was insane. That last turn our opponent had where they were able to wipe our board thanks to the Dryad Arbor fetch block. That was pretty... I gotta give him credit for that one. That was pretty sick. Silvergill Adept does not block a flyer. I guess I'll play it. Yeah, we can't even do anything with it. It doesn't matter. Okay. That is the game, everyone. All right, well, that's fine. We can move on to sideboard here. Sideboard's got to be good for us, right? I mean, look at all this. Look at it all. That's so many cards to bring in. And got a bunch to cut here as well. I do like Mistcaller against against their deck, though. That's pretty sweet. I do have to make some cuts, though. I'm going to cut a Vizier at the top end here. These cuts are hard. I cut a Trickster. I still have to make one more cut. I'm going to cut a Deprive, I guess. We just have so much hate for them already. I mean, they can just fire off a fast one and just get there that game with an Archfiend of Ifnir like they did. Or they can just play the value game where they just play all their stuff for fair costs and still get us. That's a thing Living In can do. I've played that deck quite a bit myself. But this gives us a good shot. And this hand seems pretty reasonable. We get a Silvergill or Spreading Seas as we please in the first couple turns. After that, we have Deprive for the Living In whenever it does come online. Wow. Dryad Arbor is their play, huh? I don't know exactly what happens when I Spreading Seas that, but I assume it's pretty good. So I'm going to do that. I don't even know, to be honest, if that was a good play, but it was probably just worse than playing Silvergill Adept, but I don't know. That was very... I don't know. Maybe it was dumb. And also... Yeah, I don't know. That was probably dumb. Oh, it's still a creature? It's just now a Dryad Island. Oh my gosh. Well, okay, I didn't know that. Lesson learned. That might come back to punish us, actually. That's kind of a mistake. I just wanted to see what would happen. I never... Oh, that was a nice draw. Never done that before. Alright, well, that's fine. It still crimps our opponent's mana a little bit here. Okay, they've got the Ingature. That's fine. At this point, I think I pretty much want to keep up Deprive. So if we just hit one more land, we'll be good to go, I think. Yeah, this is where it gets really hard because... Do I want to go for it now or not? I think I probably don't want to go... I think I probably do want to play my creatures. I don't think they're going to fire it off on this board. It wouldn't be that good for them. It'd be okay for them, but I think we could rebuild from it. Also, we could just hit a land here. And have Deprive open. We did not. Wow, that's a lot of lords, though. Okay, so... I mean, if our opponent sees... If they have the mana and see that this is the line they want... And, okay, so they don't have it. So now we actually have a board. We get to keep Deprive open for the rest of the game. If I could just hit a land. I mean... It's pretty clear that we're holding up countermagic here, but I just can't chance it at this point. I mean, we have a little bit of a clock on our opponent. We have plenty of good cards after that. Let's just hold up Deprive and see what we get. Because the thing is, if we hit a land at any point, it just becomes extremely difficult for our opponent to win. Like that. Now we get to play Lord of Atlantis. Now Dryad Arbor can't trade with our creatures. Not that I know if it was going to or not. But we get to kill our opponent in 2 turns. So this should swing things pretty well. Alright, so they're going to Violent Outburst. I have to let that resolve. I guess they could be setting up for one here. I mean, I'm going to Deprive the Living End. I guess our opponent could untap into one. At which point I just play 2 Lords, though, and I just have lethal in play the next turn. Oh, my opponent said Psy, so I assume that means maybe they don't have anything else. I mean, Oh, my opponent said Psy. Ricochet Trap is still broke, not letting me cast for blue. I don't know what that means. I guess it's some sort of Magic Online bug. It's very unfortunate. I'm sorry, friend. I didn't know. Not that it would change anything. You chose to play a bug deck, I guess. Which is, I feel your pain, but there's nothing I can do about it. Let's see if they have the Demonic Dread, though. Because if they do, we still have a game. They do have it. So, this is very much still a game. That's a lot of power in play. Well, we'll see what our opponent tries to do here. We have I mean, the blocks aren't good. Well, that Archfiend of Ifnir is going to... We might just be dead to it. I'm guessing based on what our opponent said that they also have a Simian Spirit Guide in their hand. I won't lie. Yeah, we're just dead. Living End's got a good matchup against these creature decks. One counterspell is not enough. We had a lot of counterspells, and they were not enough. I mean, we're not dead. The problem is Archfiend of Ifnir just means that, you know, half of their deck just wrecks our board. And our opponent brings them all in, huh? That makes sense. I can't kill him, so you may as well. I can deal my opponent 4, for what it's worth. Okay, well, we need our opponent to have nothing, and we will tap down the Archfiend of Ifnir in combat. I don't think there's any way for us to get out of this, but I'm gonna play like there is. We will see. If my opponent lets this resolve, thinking they'll use it as a combat trick later, that won't work because it makes it lose all abilities. But they just had it, so we are just dead. It was pretty rough to get blown out by Living End twice here. Merfolk's supposed to have a good matchup against it. And obviously, Mistcaller is even better than Curse Catcher in the matchup. But we never saw any of them, nor did we ever see any Graveyard Hate. And our opponent just played through one counterspell. So, yeah, that was a blowout. Our opponent, they didn't have any more, I guess. But now all we have are chump blocks. Also, this is an 8-6. Because why not? Yeah, that'll do it. All right, good games. Hey everybody, time for more Merfolk in Modern. We're on the play at least here. This is the kind of hand I loved back in the day. I mean, I love Merfolk, and it makes me so sad that it just hasn't been competitive in so long. I mean, I'm hoping that's going to change and we're there now, but this is the kind of hand that is just so good. You get Silvergill Adept value forever. You have Spreading Seas and Mess Up the Remaining. You just have everything going for you, but Modern's just so fast these days. I mean, it's not whether a deck can turn for you or turn through you anymore. Sometimes it's if a deck can turn to you. Our opponent here looking like they're doing pretty well for themselves. So, it's exactly what I mean. Our opponent's just got it all here. There's not much we can do about it. I mean, I guess I could play Merfolk Trickster on their up. Well, I could just pass with it up, I guess. That's so rough. I mean, Merfolk Trickster is actually nice in that it is an answer to the combo. Do I think they have the combo and a way to kill me, or should I just play out my hand here? That's the answer. I mean, because like Mistcaller might even stop it if it's Cord, which means we only lose to them having the combo and Duskwatch Recruiter in hand. Yeah, I won't lie. That's enough for me to just go ahead and play out my stuff here, I think. All right, this is reason. I just had to get stuff into play, I think. I mean, it is possible that they both have the Vizier in their hand, and they have the Court of Calling. Or, I'm sorry. Okay, this is fine, yeah. You know, like I said, it's possible they had all of those cards that we couldn't beat in their hand. But I think that's fine. I mean, I think this was reasonable. We had to get into the board. And if our opponent's going to fire off... Oh my gosh, there's just a lot of Kitchen Finks, huh? Well, this is interesting. They're actually playing a version that still has Kitchen Finks because it is... most certainly one of the best cards against us. That said, drawing this Lord of Atlantis here is a pretty big game. This is going to be a big deal coupled with the Spreading Seas. I get a Spreading Seas their mana. This is huge because it means we can actually try to race them now. We get to attack in for 8 unblockable damage, which is one of the only possible ways we were going to beat Kitchen Finks, to be honest, because no card is better at just grinding with Merfolk than Kitchen Finks is. So I think we actually have lethal next turn, though, is the crazy part here with this Phantasmal Image, because we have 8, 10, plus 4 more. So we actually have 14 damage next turn. So if this is all our opponent is up to, they're going to be in trouble. Yeah, it seems like that might be the case here. So I'm just going to fire off this Phantasmal Image, copy our Lord, and go for the kill. If our opponent has anything crazy, we have Merfolk Trickster. So I think we're actually just going to get there here. All right, look at that. We did it. We took him down. Our opponent Whether our Mistcaller stopped him or not, we don't know, but it was pretty sweet. So, I don't know exactly what we're up against here. I mean, it's Vizier of Remedies combo. The problem is, once the quarter resolves, you actually can't stop them. I wonder if Vincer's good, though. Master of Wave seems pretty bad. Spell Pierce seems medium. Deprive seems pretty good. Relic of Progenitus is super hit or miss, to be honest. I actually kind of like Peak a little bit in the matchup. What don't we need in this matchup? Mirror Rejury we do not need, as much as I love it. This gives us 4 Deprives. This gives us some ways to try to stop our opponent from comboing out. The thing is, I'm tempted to get the Relics in here as well. There's a lot of ways we could go. We could get the Gut Shots and try to hit their Mana Dorks. Which I guess that's a thing, right? I'm willing to give it a shot. All right, we'll see what happens here. Let's see what we can do with this. I think the Gut Shots are pretty good. Yeah, I wanted to double check here. Vizier of Remedies is a 2/1, so we can actually kill it in response, maybe? I guess in response to the creature that... I don't know if we can, actually. That's the thing, the stupid combo is so resilient. They play it, and then they go to add mana, and you try to respond to that. Well, one, you can't because it's a mana ability, but then they try to untap it. And there's just nothing you can do because they just untap again in response to your spell. So it actually... Gutshot doesn't actually stop the combo. I mean, it can kind of catch it if they play the pieces separately. But on its own, it doesn't actually stop it here. So I kept a 1-lander, but for one, I think you just have to be willing to do that some point when you play Merfolk. Maybe not as much now with the new Scry rule, but back in the day, you just had to be okay with 1-landers. But with 3 1-drops, a Spreading Seas for Island Walk, the Deprive... this hand seemed too good to mulligan, I think, and on the draw especially, I'm going to be prone to keeping hands like this. Maybe it'll work, maybe it won't, but I think it's worth a shot. We also might get a free roll some value here when I go to attack with this Mistcaller. If my opponent just takes the quote-unquote free block with a Devoted Druid and I get a gut shot it, that would be sick. That would be crazy. And honestly, there's no reason if you're them to not do it. I mean, you certainly... I don't think play around gut shot. But it might just work out for us. And we drew this Aether Vial, which is certainly a turn late, but all told, not that bad. Certainly happy to take it here. All right, please block. Please let me blow you out. Oh, thank you. Oh, what a friend. We don't even lose our Mistcaller. That was insane. Now, maybe we'll win the game off of that. Maybe not, I don't know. But we taught our opponent a lesson about blocking. That is the important thing. I just have another one anyways. I would like to hit a land, though. I would certainly like to do that. Now would be a good time. Oh, it's not a land. All right, well. Let's see if my opponent's brave enough to take it this time. Or brave enough to block, I suppose. It's going to be really unfortunate if we do lose this game to not drawing lands because our hand otherwise is actually pretty sweet. I don't really know if we could lose once we hit a second one, right? We have the Vial to start vialing things in. Basically, if we just have Deprive here and then the Spreading Seas later to give our creatures Island Walk to win the game, I'd feel pretty good about where we're at. This at least turns off the companies. More than happy to trade a Mistcaller for a Collected Company or a Court of Calling or whatever. So that's... in itself, it makes it a little more difficult for our opponent. They can still get us with Duskwatch Recruiter from hand because looking at the cards doesn't stop anything. So, and that said, though, our opponent is putting a counter on their Devoted Druid to play another Devoted Druid. Are they going to Cord now? Oh, we've died. To put it simply, we have died. Wow. Walking Ballista is a lost card advantage. The value Walking Ballista is going to be pretty good here. Now, our opponent is giving us a shot. We just can't punish them. Well, I guess I'm attacking. If my opponent blocks, I'll play Lord. It messes him up a little. If they don't block, I won't do anything. That was just so painful right there. If we had hit a land, then we could have done we could have done so many things. That said, our opponent, they have nothing going but this Walking Ballista. The problem is they actually have 8 mana. They can just dump so much mana into the Walking Ballista that we can't beat it. That said, I'm going to force their hand by playing this Merfolk Trickster. Wow, our opponent actually let us resolve this. Maybe I'm just supposed to play the Lord. No, I'm going to play the Trickster. Tap it down. I don't think we have any way to deal with this now is the problem. I think our opponent just gets to put all the mana they want into it every single turn. I definitely miss having Dismembers or Vapor Snags in this deck. Or Harbinger of the Tides. We hit Gut Shot, huh? Okay, combat it is. Not that I'm sad about Gut Shot, I guess. I think we're going to lose to just the world's fairest Walking Ballista in Modern. I guess I activate. Okay, resolved. Well, how's our opponent going to play this now? Good for them. They're putting the counter on first, so I can't actually try to gut shot it. Maybe they're going to remove 2 here, and then I'm going to get to try to gut shot it. Looks like that might be the case. Okay, this actually kind of works. So I'm going to try to gut shot here. So my opponent has to tap this twice to save it, which means they're still going to lose this Devoted Druid to this Mistcaller, which, like I said, probably means nothing. We're still going to die to this thing. In fact, we're almost certainly still dead to this thing no matter what we do. But I don't think my opponent... I think my opponent would have almost certainly not gone to put a counter on it on their end step. But we got something off our opponent's board. We did damage to them. I don't know. I mean, we're still dead here, but... Our opponent's just done nothing, too. That's the saddest part. Well, they have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. They only put 1 counter on it this time. But that's enough to just obliterate our board. This was a very, very unfortunate game. We had everything we wanted. And our opponent honestly didn't even have a very good hand. We just got pretty much max unlucky here to go... it took us 13 cards to find a second land. Alright, let's see what we hit here. If there's something that gets us back in it, that's not the worst start. I guess I attack with the team and then vial in and tap this Ballista down. We at least force something this way, I suppose. I don't think we're going to get there, but maybe if we drew Running Lords, we could. Alright, my opponent has shot down our other Mistcaller. We're down to 1 Mistcaller. I guess I'll hit the Devoted Druid, because it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter, so we may as well, if they wanted to chump block, I mean, it's possible they would have used that Devoted Druid to chump block. I guess is all that we really got out of that. All that said, my opponent, they hit land. We needed them to hit something there that wasn't land. It was like a Birds of Paradise or something that didn't do anything, but also didn't give them mana to put 2 counters on this. And then we could have hit a Lord to get out of it. As a matter of fact, I think we could maybe still hit a Lord to get out of it. Oh, they're just going to activate Gavany Township, huh? Well, that's even better. Now they can go up to 3 and their Devoted Druid's going. So that one pretty much kills us, I think. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who drew well or who drew poorly. I will say it's unfortunate our draws did not line up the way we would have liked them to. Does that do anything? I guess I attack with the team. See what my opponent does here. I'm hoping to respond to the Walking Ballista activation of powering it up by copying Phantasmal Image on it. Copying Phantasmal Image on Merfolk Trickster to target it. That's my plan here. I assume my opponent's not going to let me... Wow, they're just going to move to damage and go to 1, huh? Okay. That's interesting. I can actually play Deprive if they draw something now. And I get to tap down one of their things. I mean, I guess I'm just still probably not going to be able to beat the Ballista. It's just going to have too many counters on it, but... I don't know. Like, I don't think we're in a great spot here, but I wouldn't have expected to even have this much hope. Alright, well that has to get deprived. Just because anything has to get deprived at this point. That's actually really big that our opponent... Wow. Okay, well they can always untap their Druid here. Okay, I think I let this resolve. No, I can't because they can always shoot my Phantasmal. It's just going to be a problem no matter what. This was such a rough game to lose. I mean, we're not dead. Our opponent's at 1 life, but I'm going to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be able to do that 1 point of damage to them. We just have no good answers to Walking Ballista. Our opponent can go up to 5 counters, which is conveniently exactly enough to get us here. Now, if we hit a Lord or something, maybe that changes things. I don't think Mutavault does. But we'll see. I'm also not holding a Deprive, but I think I need the attacker next turn. Well, I guess my opponent might actually lose their Ballista here. No, they can chump block with that. Yep. This game is... Oh, this has been so close. If we'd hit a Lord here, that would have done it. My opponent gets to keep their Ballista. They do lose their Devoted Druid. Okay, so it's my opponent's Ballista against our 1 creature plus Mutavault. This could work if they whiff on this draw step. Basically, if they hit land on the draw step, we're fine. I mean, that would be an absurd amount of lands for them to draw, but I think if they hit land here, we might be okay. Just passing the turn to us is pretty wild, actually. And we hit a blank. The problem is I can't deprive here. Gosh, why couldn't we have just hit something good? Alright, my opponent can go up to 2 counters on the thing. I think I just have to go for it. I think this might be a chump block from our opponent. A chump block and kill, but passing the turn to them at 1 life. Then again, their last card could be Collect a Company, it could be Quarter Calling, it could be any number of things we can't beat because we had to tap our mana like this. We needed them to whiff 1 turn here. I don't think we're going to get it. They're certainly tapping their mana like they mean it. I mean, I can't really be upset because they were due to draw a card that did something. It's just unreal unlucky that the turn they drew a card to do something is the one turn in the game we can't hold up Deprive. Maybe I could have, actually. It would have required a different line, but maybe I could have done nothing. Just attacked with the Merfolk Trickster. My opponent would still... They only had 7 mana. I guess they still would have had to trade it. And then I could have held up Deprive for this Cord and then untapped with Mutavault. Maybe I punted, actually. Maybe I just punted that turn. In fact, I honestly think I kind of did. I mean, it depends what my opponent has. The truth is... Yeah, I mean, I don't know. There's a lot of cards we don't beat there. So I'm not sure if that's, you know, the end-all be-all, but... I do know that we had a very unlucky series of draws this game. But I think maybe I could have won that game. We're almost definitely dead now. I guess it depends what our opponent hits, but... Man. I think it's hard. Because if our opponent... There's a lot of different things our opponent could have there. But maybe there isn't because we have Deprive up. I don't know. I don't know. And we knew we were playing Aether Vial, so next time we'd be able to play everything we wanted. That said, our opponent would have played this Knight of Autumn into our Mutavault right now. We wouldn't have had Deprive up. We would have just had a Mutavault in play. So I don't know if that would have been better or not. As is, we're very dead here. I don't think I have any outs. Razor's thin edge this game. That's for sure. Alright, well, the third vial is the correct rub-in card to make you feel bad. 2 top deck vials in a row. I think I like what we're doing, though. Knight of Autumn's pretty good against us. The gut shots lose a lot of their value now, although they are a little better since we're on the draw. Maybe I'll get a... Well, Vincier's just so slow. Man, we just have so few ways to deal with... There's just so little interaction in this list. Alright, well, I don't think I can mulligan this hand. It's certainly not good. 4 lands is the max of what you want to draw, but if that's the case, at least one of them is a Mutavault. That counts as a creature. We've got the Vial. We've got a counterspell. I mean, this could be pretty good. This is the sort of hand that is one of those with Merfolk where, sort of like the one-lane hand, to be honest, you just get these extremes, and either you're going to draw the right 2 cards on top or whatever, and your hand's just going to look great because you're going to hit all your land drops and have all your spells. Or we're going to draw 2 lands, or even like 1 land in the next 2 draws or whatever, and just be completely, we're just going to do nothing and look terrible. But that is, I mean, you play a deck like this, you sign up for that. And you know what? That one's not bad. In fact, it would probably just be too greedy to go for the Spreading Seas here, I think. No, I think it's correct. So this is counterintuitive, and maybe it's wrong, but I think that play has a lot of upside, because next turn, we still get to put in our Lord of Atlantis. So the difference is, if we look at not just that last turn, but the next 2 turns, we want to do things with Lord of Atlantis, Deprive, and Spreading Seas. And if I play, well, we're going to get blown up by Knight of Autumn here, but if I play the Lord of Atlantis there, then on my next turn, my Vial does nothing. I mean, obviously, we would have drawn Phantasmal Image, and it would have done something, but with what we knew, it would have done nothing. But at taking this line, the idea was that we could play spread... Oh, wow, they actually call it Spreading Seas. Oh, okay. Wow, okay, this works out then. This works out very well then. So the point is now we have Deprive up, right? That was the whole point of all the words I just said. The idea was that when it was over, we would be able to have Deprive for this turn here when our opponent hits 4 mana. They want to play Duskwatch, huh? Well, I guess I'm not going to have a better opportunity to cast Deprive, so I may as well just do it even though it's not a particularly high impact card. Alright, our opponent can't even attack here. I don't know how to characterize where we're at in this game, but, you know, honestly, it could be a lot worse. I think that was probably the key draw. That was the turn where we needed something good, and instead we whiffed. But I think if we had a creature there to add to our board, along with this Phantasmal Image we're vialing in, I think it looks, you know, worlds different there. Alright, this seems pretty bad for us. I mean, we get to kill both of our opponent's creatures. We were already going to get to do that. But imagine if we were able to actually play something there, right? Basically, any follow-up to our board with that 3 mana means that, yeah, our opponent gets to untap and have stuff or whatever. But we would be attacking for so much damage next turn and just have the ability to end the game on the spot. And instead, we are, you know, backs up against the wall here. I just can't catch a break. We'll try. Opponent's down to 6, but I mean, we're just dead. There's no way they don't have it now. They killed that Mistcaller. They almost certainly just have a combo. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe we'll get lucky here. Maybe that's just the best line they had available to them. But we had a couple shots here and we did not hit, so I think these last 2 draws might have killed us. Gonna be close though. That said, our opponent has 4 cards. They do have to be a good 4 cards. Are they casting Cord here to go get it? Okay, they could whiff. Collected Company is a card that could whiff. Fingers crossed. Birds of Paradise. Eternal Witness. Those are kind of whiffs. Eternal Witness back. Collected Company. I mean, that was kind of a whiff, though, and I think it means we have another out to get there. I think we have another draw step. They could also get back the Avacyn's Pilgrim to try to block. We don't have Island Walk. They could actually put the Avacyn's Pilgrim and the Eternal Witness in front of a Lord of Atlantis to kill it. Yeah, I mean, then they still have to chump block. So then they still untap with 4 mana and Devoted Druid. They've just gotten one of our creatures off the board. Maybe that's good for them. Maybe they just double chump block. I could see that. They could just double chump block, have an additional mana next turn if that matters. So they are going to get the Collected Company. Yeah, I think this is probably the correct line. I think getting one of our creatures off the board is not worth it. They need to just try to kill us. Oh wow, and if they'd hit, they would have just won there. Alright, deck. Give me something here. Give me something to work with. You have not been very kind to me this match. We did it. I don't think this is enough to win, but it is very good. To be honest, in fact, it might actually change nothing. Because my opponent already had to block twice. So I don't really know what I was looking for there. I think I was actually looking for the Dominaria one. Sorry, Merfolk Trickster. Although maybe not if my opponent's blocking like that. Alright, well, we'll keep them from shocking themselves at least. That's actually an interesting play for our opponent. I think it was probably wrong. I mean, I guess it depends on what their hand is, but losing their Duskwatch Recruiter feels like a big deal. I mean, because, I don't know, maybe they just have it, but yeah, maybe they just have it. Maybe they just hit it here and they have another card in hand that does what Duskwatch did, but Knight of Autumn isn't it, though. Oh my gosh, the value. My opponent just going to be able to block forever here. crazy this game's going on. This has actually been a pretty wild game 3. All we can do is just slam our creature sideways every turn and hope it works. My opponent can gain 4 life here, and that's actually kind of good. Then again, just putting counters on it is pretty good as well. Yeah. If they put counters on Knight of Autumn so that they could trade with one of our creatures, Eternal Witness back the Avacyn's Pilgrim, play the Avacyn's Pilgrim, chump block 2, trade with 1? I don't know. I don't know if that gets them in a very good spot either. I have no idea what they're supposed to do here. It's probably gain 4 life. They are getting back the Avacyn's Pilgrim with the Eternal Witness. Well, we've got another chance to draw good cards. Merfolk Trickster works. Another Lord is... I guess it doesn't work. It's good. They do go up to 6 life. And they get to take out 2 of our creatures again. I mean, it's actually pretty good for them. We need to hit something. Come on, deck. Our opponent's deck's been real good to them. Can our deck be good to us? Never. I think we're dead now. I don't think I have any choice but to do this, but I think that we're dead. Our opponent gets to put this here, these 2 creatures on this Lord of Atlantis. This is wrong. They want to put 2 power in front of this and 3 power in front of this. You kill this one, then the damage will cause this to die. And you take 4, you go to 2. But then I only have a Mutavault left over, and you get on tap with 3 cards in hand. This is a really bad line our opponent took. They could have lined up much different blocks. Could have put 3 power in front of one, the Lord's 2 power in front of the other. They just have another Collected Company. Taking out 1 Lord, then damage would have worn off. It would have gone down to 2 toughness with 2 damage on it. And had the other, my other Lord would have died. Then all I would have had is Mutavault when I untap, and they would have been at 2 life. As it is, they now have infinite mana. And they have the kill. I don't know. I don't know what I was supposed to do besides not draw 3 or 4 lands in a row there. Alright, GG's. GG's. That was close. It was very close. It was a good match for sure. Obviously, Merfolk Trickster was next. Obviously, it was the next card where I could have responded to that Collected Company by Merfolk Trickstering this, so it didn't have any ability. So you just kept it one card off all night, I guess. All right, but that's how it goes.